Okay, so I've been trying to get this episode going for a while now, and one of the big issues and the reason why it's taken so long is the fact that I've had a couple of different topics I wanted to talk about, um, but I really want to do more extensive videos than just these rambling ones on at least certain topics. So I just gathered three topics which I could just talk about briefly, and I'm just going to do this episode on these three topics. The first one is my opinions on the DC and Marvel cinematic universes and their different approaches. Now, I saw somewhere, and I don't even remember where I saw this, where I would assume it's a DC fan, which I myself, I could go either way. It just depends on what character you're talking about. But in regards to the cinematic universe, I saw someone say that Marvel is going more for an immature crowd, the more mainstream crowd, whereas DC is trying to cater towards a more mature crowd. And while I don't entirely agree, I can kind of see where they're coming from. However, my opinion on the subject would be that Marvel is going for an immature crowd in a very mature way, a very well done way, whereas DC is going for a mature crowd in an extremely immature way. Like Marvel, they know what they're doing. They're going about this smart. Whereas DC, they're trying to rush it, and they think that mature means dark and gritty, and it's just something that I really cannot get behind. And I will go into more detail in another video. But for now, that's really just what I wanted to say on the subject. Um, then I wanted to expand on my opinions on the way the new Ghostbusters film is going, and particularly the hate that the trailer's getting, which I certainly share the hate because the trailer was absolutely awful. And my opinions on why people really hate it, it's a couple of different reasons. But I think first and foremost, it seems that the decision to, gender swap the characters was a decision that had less to do with, oh, we were creatively inspired to do this, and more, we're trying to blatantly cater to third wave feminist, which is an ideology that's becoming less and less popular. So yeah, they really should have expected a backlash from that. But yeah, although my personal issues with it more stem from the leaked pitch that the director had to Sony in the leaked Sony emails, where he's describing the plot that he's come up with, and it really bothers me that he seems to fundamentally misunderstand what the original Ghostbusters was, or rather, where the comedy came from. Based on what I saw from the leaked email, it seemed that he's really going in depth with the backstory, or not the backstory, the story of like why the ghosts are haunting the city, and this really elaborate evil ghost villain plan. It, I and focusing less on the actual Ghostbusters themselves, whereas in the original, the comedy came from the fact that it was more of a going into business story, where the business they were going into just so happened to be catching ghosts. And the whole, I mean, that's really where the comedy stemmed from, is the fact that, oh, it just so happens that that's what they're doing, and it's kind of nonchalant about it, and that's what's funny. And yeah, the current one, it doesn't seem to really understand that on a very fundamental level. And the third topic I want to talk about, probably the most controversial, would be the way that Hillary Clinton has been just really being extremely condescending towards Bernie Sanders supporters. And I'm trying to think of exactly how I want to word this. Basically, she thinks that Bernie Sanders supporters will come over to her side simply based on the fact that she's winning. And that is, I think, a mistake that is really going to cost her in the general election. I don't know who is advising her that the path she's going on with this is a smart idea, but she should probably fire them. I mean, there are plenty of reasons why I do not like Hillary Clinton, and they just keep mounting every day. And of course, she detracts from this by saying, "Oh, the hate that I'm getting, it's not because I'm a terrible person or anything. No," she pulls the "it's because I'm a woman" card, and oh, she's claiming sexism basically. Okay, you know what? I know this is gonna sound really fucked up, but if Hillary Clinton wins the Democratic nomination and then goes on in the general election to lose to Donald Trump, it will not be because she's a woman. It will be because she is a cunt. And that is all I have for this episode. It's probably going to be a while before I do the next one. Um, I'm going to be working on several projects at once, including trying to get a book finished. And yeah, so I'll see you when I see you.